Hey, I'm Holly, and with my sister Heather, you're listening to Haunted Family Podcast, a weekly podcast about the paranormal, unsolved mysteries, and even some true crime.
You always sound so chipper when you say that.
I am chipper.
No matter how depressing the topic is, you're always just so happy.
Well, it kind of goes back. You know what I'm thinking when I do this?
What?
Okay, do you remember when Dad worked at that radio station in Salyersville?
Yes.
And when we were teaching Jimmy Neal how to talk on the air?
Oh my God, yes. And now he's a big famous Kentucky weather guy.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, Jimmy Neal, you got to say it like you're cheering it. And he was very confused, and so I was like, everything's got to be like this. Yeah. That's what I think of.
Well, it works.
So,
School's back in session.
it is. Well, no. It's the last night of summer break for us.
Well, school's back in session for my county.
Okay.
And for many counties.
Yeah, ours start tomorrow. And actually, it's very weird that we're doing this topic because tomorrow is my baby's first day of her senior year. Sniff, sniff, tear, tear. I remember dropping her off at kindergarten. Okay. I'm not going to get weepy.
With senior year comes senior trips.
Right. Our senior trip is New York this year, and I already told Abby that she's not going without me.
Well, my senior trip was Kentucky Kingdom, and I didn't go to it because that was also the day of the band trip to Kings Island. And if I have to pick between Kentucky Kingdom or Kings Island will win every time.
Right.
And if any of our listeners want to hear about the crazy antics of my senior trip to Kings Island, go back and find our theme park episode. Because I talk about my trip to Kings Island in that episode.
Fun times. And you know what? Nobody died. Or went missing.
Nobody died on that trip. But it did get a little, I guess PG-13.
Yeah. Well, R-rated, depending on, whether or not you saw...
Yeah.
What's that called? Those, pictures that, ride pictures. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're going to flash back through this episode to late May of 2005.
Okay. Oh, speaking of late May of 2005, Sniffs.
Was that when your baby was starting kindergarten?
No, it was when she was about to start kindergarten. She started in August of 2005.
Aww.
I know, so sad. I don't want to do this episode.
Well, you've got to. We've already committed.
Fine.
Okay, so we're in Aruba.
Oh, that's good.
It's a pretty fancy senior trip, isn't it?
I know. I think our senior trip was, I think we went to New York also, but I didn't go. But I don't remember why I didn't go. But the band did not a senior trip, but band did a trip my senior year, and we went to Disney World, and I didn't go to that either.
Was that when the band got banned from a certain beach in Florida?
Yes. Okay. And I was not on that trip, people. Was not on that trip.
This senior trip was apparently so wild that the Holiday Inn that they were staying in told them that if they came back the next year, they were not allowed to stay in that hotel.
Oh, wow. That is wild.
Yeah. So, we've got... Okay.
You realize that we've... Oh, yeah. Okay. I was going to say, you realize we haven't told them what today's topic is, right?
Oh, we haven't?
No, we haven't.
Okay. So...
I thought that's where you were going when you set it up, that we're in Aruba.
I'm going to set this up. We're in Aruba. 125 recent graduates from Mountain Brook High School and their 7 adult chaperones.
Which, in my opinion, is not enough chaperones.
No. But the chaperones were told, since it was an unofficial senior trip, the chaperones were pretty much told to just make sure no one died.
Well, they didn't do a very good job with that, now did they?
they, wasn't allowed to really, be the chaperone, tell them not to drink. Because the drinking age is a lot lower in Aruba. Because Aruba is part of the Netherlands. No, so they did. And, of course, being recent graduates and teenagers, these kids went, well, using a term that we use here in Kentucky, buck wild.
I don't use that.
Well, you may not, but you've heard it.
I have. Yeah.
Okay. And one of the 124 students didn't make it home.
Why is that not surprising?
I'm sure by now most people are like, oh, they're talking about Natalee Holloway. And you're right, we are talking about Natalee Holloway. On one hand, I kind of feel that her disappearance only really became sensationalized because she is your classic pretty blonde white girl from a wealthy family.
Right. Probably.
But alas, she died. Well,
we think.
We assume she died. Her body has never been found. And to date, it's still an unsolved case. Her parents had her declared dead on January 12th, 2012.
Oh, why is that? I mean, do we have a reason?
No.
Because as a parent, my child's not going out of the country without me. As a parent, my child sure as hell is not going to go on a school trip with only 7 chaperones in a place where the drinking age is, well, legal for them to drink. She sure as hell is not. Yeah, there's so many things that as a parent I would not do.
But you're a helicopter parent.
I'm not a helicopter parent. I am a responsible parent.
Holly, how many years did you serve on the PTO?
Well, I'm still serving. This is my 7th year as president. The year before that I was vice president. And then in elementary school, I was secretary.
She was the middle school PTO president, I think you were.
I still am, yeah.
Even when she didn't have children in the middle school.
I had a gap year, and the principal asked me if I would stick around.
Okay. The legal age for drinking and gambling in Aruba is 18. However, it's not really enforced, and you won't be carded. So pretty much, it's a free-for-all.
Cool.
But Natalee Holloway was 18. She was the legal age to drink in Aruba. And according to her friends, she drank from the time she woke up until the time she went to bed.
Wow.
But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not much of a drinker.
I'm not going to say I'm not, but I mean, I'm not a lush either.
But I can see how this sort of taste of freedom would drive kids to drink excessively. My personal thought was that the chaperones should have been putting the brakes on some of this hard partying. If you're partying to the point where the hotel tells you you're not allowed back the next year, you've crossed the line.
That's true. I started to say, do you know how many times I've been kicked out of the McDonald's beside our high, well, not the high school my kids go to, but the high school I went to?
There's actually a McDonald's on the Mountain Parkway that I was banned from.
Yeah.
But you know what? I was not drunk at the time.
Well, I wasn't drunk either, but I was throwing ketchup packets.
I was throwing french fries. Actually, people were throwing french fries. Trying to get it down my cleavage.
We do have table manners.
But anyway, I was stone cold sober at the time because I do most of my mischief when I'm sober. I like to know the trouble I'm getting into. But anyway, we're getting way off topic here.
Okay.
There are a few things that we do know about her disappearance.
Okay.
And I guess we should just, from here on out, call it a disappearance because while she was declared dead in absentia, we do not know 100% for certain that she died.
Right. Although, I tend to believe that she died.
There are two options here. One, she died that night. She died May 29th, 2005. Or she was sold into slavery. Newsflash for any of our listeners, slavery still very much exists. If you hit the classified section on Backpage and you look at all those escorts, 99% of those are being held in sexual slavery.
Okay, I've often wondered this, and I know it's going to get off topic, but how come the girls, if they're being used as escorts, how can they not just run away? Or tell the guys that they're being held... I guess the guys don't really give a fuck that they're being held against their will. But can't they just run away?
They're often drugged, and, when you get hooked on it, and the person who's holding you in slavery is feeding you the pills.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
They break you down mentally so that you feel that you don't have options. They threaten to kill your family if you try to escape.
Lucky for them, you're the only one I really like. So I'd be like, okay.
Try to kill him. Good luck. Best wishes for you, man.
I'd be like, can I just sit back and watch this?
But yeah, so I tend to lean towards that she died. But I don't believe that she was murdered. And I don't believe that she was murdered because of the fact that she was so heavily intoxicated that night. And for, the duration of the trip. That I think that it's very likely that something else happened to her.
I don't know. Okay, I'll tell you what I think at the end of the episode.
Okay. So we do know that that night she left a bar, Carlos and Charlie's. Anybody who remembers the story remembers this. With two, I guess you could say, locals to Aruba. One was a Dutch man named Joran van der Sloot. And the other one was Surinamese brothers, Deepak and Satish Kalpo.
You may have actually pronounced those right.
I think I might have. But you know what? I have to thank Nancy Grace and Greta Van Susteren for this, because they drilled these names into my head when I was watching TV about this. I mean, they didn't literally. They wasn't talking just to me. But
I think they were. I know how much you love Greta Van Susteren, so...
So, there was a huge search party for her.
Yeah, and...
Special agents from the FBI came in. Dutch soldiers came in. They used a Dutch F-16 to scan the water from the sky. Divers, independent search and rescue people from the United States came in to search for her. Literally hundreds of people. And they never found her.
So the how'd you pronounce that? Vandersloot. I'm just going to call him Vandersloot. So
Euron.
That's not how I'd pronounce it, but anyway.
I usually pronounce it urine, but that's because I don't like him.
Anyway, Euron was arrested multiple times.
Yeah. Aruba's really small. It's less than 70 square miles. And only has just over 100,000 people in it. So the fact that, that many searchers were in this country and they couldn't find the body is weird. To me, at least.
You would think that she would be able to be found in that small of an area. I mean, 70 square miles. I drive more than that just in a day for work.
With my last job, if I drove under 100 miles, it was a slow day and I wasn't making money. A few hundred miles a day, average. But I'm not going to complain. Because that's not the topic of this episode. They arrested a ton of people.
They did. Like, I hate to criticize the police because they have a extremely hard job. But
I think this might have been the case where the money of Joran van der Sloot's family, his dad was a judge, really helped smooth the way for him.
Help blind some people to things that they may see or know.
And I also think that officials in Aruba were also trying desperately to keep this quiet and downplay it because tourism is such a big part of the Aruban economy.
Yeah. So that it was kind of a balancing act of, well, we don't want to piss off this guy because he is rich and powerful and influential in our very small country. And on the other hand, we need tourism because we have a very small country. And they kind of fucked it up.
Majorly. They made a lot of arrests. They arrested, of course, Joran van der Sloot and the Kalpo brothers. I think they arrested them a couple of times and released them each time.
They did.
They arrested Nick John and Abraham Jones. They were security guards at a hotel very close to the one that Holloway was staying in. They arrested a local DJ.
It's always the DJ.
And they arrested Joran's brother. Not brother.
Dad.
His dad. I was looking right at it. Right at my nose. It says father. And said brother. But everyone got released. And there was in February of 2008, video was leaked of Joran van der Sloot apparently under the influence of marijuana, where he said that on the morning of May 30th, the day that Natalee was supposed to get on the plane and fly home, she died on the beach. And him and his friends covered it up.
Well, at one point he also said that he left her on the beach at 2 a.m. And as he was driving away, he saw her be approached by a dark man in a black shirt.
Oh, I thought that was when he dropped her off at her hotel.
No,
that she was approached by somebody he thought was a security guard.
I'm pretty sure
he changed his story about when the last time he saw her several times.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to keep track of what story is the official story that he's going with now.
Of course, he recanted what he said when he was high. I didn't think that marijuana was like a truth serum that made you talk about people you murdered. But we do know that that Joran was the last person, apparently, that saw her alive. Either the cameras in the lobby of the hotel wasn't working, or there was no footage of her walking into the hotel. Her mom has made statements that the cameras in the lobby wasn't working. So, we know that her bed wasn't slept in.
More than likely, she just never came back.
One thing that stands out about this case, and I hate to victim blame, I really do, but Holly and I have this rule. We never, when we're out, we go to a concert, we go to whatever, we never leave each other's side. Ever.
No, actually, we did go to one concert a few years ago, and we were front row center up against the stage, and if we moved, we lost our spot. And we did not pee the entire night because we did not want to lose our spot. And but you can't go alone.
No, you can't. There are sick, twisted people in this world. And I would love to say that we live in this fantasy world where there are not people out there waiting to take advantage of you and murder you. But long before we started this podcast, I knew that wasn't true.
Right.
So this isn't she shouldn't have been drinking. This is her friends let her down.
Well, see, I think
her friends and those chaperones should have never let her get in the car with 3 local guys.
Where we come from with this is so different from the average person because we've seen it happen.
Yeah.
When I was a freshman in high school, and I had a cousin that was a year older than me. She was a sophomore. And
I will never forget what our grandmother's last words to her were. I was sitting in the kitchen. She was getting ready to go out in the car, and Grandma said, "Be careful who you hang around with, because people who you think are your friends will hurt you."
Yeah. So my cousin had just turned 16. Well, our cousin had just turned 16. I guess it was just a couple of days before that. And it was prom night. I went to prom. She didn't. And
Holly went to 5 proms.
I did. And actually, Abby is going to beat me because when she goes to this one, she'll have gone to 6. Fun fact, my boyfriend and I went to my junior prom back in, I'm not going to tell you what year. But anyway, yeah.
I think she went out of her way to beat you, though.
I know. Damn it.
I think she likes that.
Yeah. Anyway, so it was prom, and I went to prom, and she didn't. And then I was at an after prom party, and I get a phone call, and we're told we have to leave and go to my aunt's house. And that's when they said that our cousin had died. So
this is the weird part about that night. Holly and another one of our cousins were on a date to prom with. Were they cousins?
No. I went to prom with a neighbor of ours, and the cousin that died was out with his cousin. So it was, but we didn't know that they knew each other.
I thought Serena's date was also related to them.
I don't think so.
I don't even remember who she went on a date with that night.
Something Sykes.
Okay. But anyway, so weird coincidence there. But they were out, they were drinking at a lake, and she ended up dying. And literally, ever since that day, everyone that was there has been stonewalling.
About what happened?
Law enforcement, the family, everybody, about what actually happened. So, you gotta be careful who you trust. You gotta be careful who you associate with. We come at almost every one of these cases from the point of view of people who have lost a family member through actions like this. So I think that her friends and the chaperones did her a disservice that night by not pulling her aside and saying, "You are not leaving with these 3 men."
I just don't know what kind of friend lets you do that. What kind of friend is like, "Oh yeah, have fun with these strangers"?
I'm sure that her friends beat themselves up over that. I'm sure they do. I don't know how They could not. Knowing that they had the power to stop her, and they chose not to.
Well, honestly, they should.
So we don't know what happened to her from the time she left Carlos and Charlie's. We don't. We know that she had been drinking heavily since the time she woke up that morning, and that she was very, very intoxicated. One account, well, one time that Euron talked about it, he said that he went to kiss her on the beach, and she started foaming at the mouth, and choked on vomit, and died.
Well, I mean, that seems like a very...
That seems plausible to me.
Yeah, plausible thing.
And it also seems plausible that, he's 17 at the time. He could have just freaked out.
As any 17-year-old would do.
And didn't know what to do. So he got rid of the body. And his friends, they were poor, they were immigrants to the country. They probably freaked out too. And they were going to listen to whatever he said, because he's the one who had money and power.
Right.
And I think as it progressed, he realized, as the media attention fell on him and fell on his country, he realized that just how big he had screwed up. And at that point, he was too far in to say, I made a mistake.
Right, because at this point, nobody's going to believe him.
No. There was a lot of eyewitnesses that came forward to say that they saw... one was the groundskeeper of a golf course, and he said that he saw someone that looked like Euron Vandersloot and the Calvo brothers on the golf course heading towards a pond. Why do golf courses have ponds?
I don't know. So that your ball will get trapped.
I don't know. Anyway, the pond was actually drained. Yeah, I don't know. The pond was drained and no body. One eyewitness said that she saw Euron Vandersloot burying a blonde-headed girl in a what are those things called? Listeners can't hear me, but I'm drawing this out with my fingers.
They can hear you, they just can't see you.
Oh, yeah. A trash dump. And they saw him burying a blonde-headed girl in a trash dump. Searchers with cadaver dogs searched this 4 or 5 times. It was searched actually before this person came forward and said that she saw somebody being buried there. Absolutely no hits from the cadaver dogs. So we're really at a loss for where the body could have been. And I don't see Euron Vandersloot coming forward anytime soon to tell us what he did with the body.
He has no reason to.
Although he did get convicted in a U.S. court for trying to extort money from the Holloway family.
That's where I was going next. He's a slimy guy. Like,
he is.
I mean, everything that they have on Natalee Holloway is absolutely circumstantial. But that doesn't mean that he's not a slimy guy. I mean, although, I'm going to say, in his defense, Beth Holloway showing up at the prison to try to get him to confess, that's kind of a bitch move.
And sneaking into Peruvian prison, yeah.
I know, your daughter's gone, you miss her, but honey, at some point, some of that falls on your shoulders too. You let her go.
True. I hate to be the person, blaming the victim and blaming the parent, but Natalee Holloway clearly grew up very, very privileged. And I think that maybe with that privilege came naivete when it comes to actual having street smarts.
Like nothing can touch me?
Yes. And I don't think that she was really prepared for the type of partying and the, things like that.
As a parent of the age Well, she's not actually the age of Natalee yet, but she will be in May. As the mother of a senior, I'm going to tell you that it is my job to make sure that she is prepared to leave me. And that she is prepared to not jump in the car with strange men, she's a lesbian, so not jump in the car with strange women, to not put herself in a situation where she can't get herself back home. Nobody is going to look out for you but you. Make sure you can get yourself home.
I think that's probably a really solid piece of advice there.
I've gone on several work trips, and I no longer work with this person that I'm about to talk about, and I hope she doesn't listen to the podcast. But
she probably doesn't, because we don't have many listeners in the state of Kentucky.
Well, she actually lives in Indiana, so...
Oh, well, never mind then.
Anyway, so I worked with this girl, and every time we would have an overnight trip, she would get completely and totally trashed. I mean, just completely drunk.
Well, for one, that is really bad form to be getting that drunk on a work trip.
Well,
I know a lot of people do, but your bosses probably judge you.
Well, at this point of the night, it was just the people who were traveling for long. If we got hotel rooms, if we had to travel longer than an hour or something, and sometimes I would stay. Sometimes I haven't stayed in a while because usually the meetings are usually an hour away, and I drive that on any given work day anyway, so I don't usually stay the night.
And Holly would much rather sleep in her own bed.
I would. And I like to watch my children to make sure they're not having wild parties. And they never do, but still.
Your children are so lame, Holly.
I know. But anyway, so she would get really drunk. And then I worried about whether or not she could even make it up to her room from the hotel bar. This one time we went to a what's that called? Where it's Japanese and they prepare it in front of you.
Hibachi.
Yes, we went to a hibachi. It was really good, by the way. Just letting you know. And she cried the whole time we were there, drunk cried the whole time we were there. She tried to tip we took hotel shuttle there. She tried to tip the hotel shuttle person $100, and then she was complaining about her husband wouldn't buy her a 4-carat ring, and she thought she deserved it, or some shit like that. I don't know. Anyway.
Dang.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm talking about you like this if you listen. I really do like you, but man, you're a bad drunk. Anyway.
You need to pull that together. Nobody likes a sloppy drunk.
Yeah, so, but this night in particular was her birthday, so I kind of understand being sad about being on a work trip on your birthday. But, man, we did have one of our bosses stay there with us. Not stay there to watch us, but, she just hung out with us there at the bar before we went to the hibachi. And as she was leaving, she told me to watch her and make sure that she got back up to her room safe, because I was the only one that was acting responsible. And I was like, well, okay, but I don't really fucking want to. But I did, because, that's what I do. I get to be responsible. But it should not be anybody's job to make sure you get home safe. I mean, no, just because you're drunk does not mean that you need to be taken advantage of. And it does not mean that if you aspirate and die on a beach that you need to be disposed of. But it means watch yourself, because nobody else is going to have your best interest at heart. Obviously, in this case, her friends did not have her best interest at heart. Joran Vandersloot did not have her best interest at heart. Nobody had her best interest at heart. She didn't have her best interest at heart. And that's sad.
And we're not telling people not to drink. We're not telling people not to have a good time. We're telling everybody, you got to watch out for number one.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to protect yourself. Because there are... I don't believe Joran Vandersloot murdered her, But there are bad people in this world that will. And there are bad people in this world who are just looking for an opportunity to get what they want.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for number one.
This is completely off topic, but it is kind of about watching out for number one. Something weird happened today. I was in my room working, and the girls come in and tell me that there's a guy at the door wanting to...
I'm guessing he did not know the secret knock.
He did not. Nor did he not listen to, but he didn't read the sign on my front door that says "Go away," and he knocked. And I'm not sure which girl answered, but one of the kids answered, and he said he was from South Dakota and he needed a ride to Walmart and some water or something like that. And so they came and got me. And I was like, what the fuck? We're not giving some stranger a ride to Walmart. We live on the bus route. He could take a bus.
Especially considering you live, a mile from Walmart?
I do. I live a mile from Walmart, and I live on the fucking bus route. He could take the bus to Walmart.
There's a gas station literally right across the street from your house.
Yeah. So I told him, I'm sorry, I'm not giving you a ride to Walmart, but here's a bottle of water. Have fun with that.
Weird.
Very.
But I feel horrible that she died. I do. But I'm honestly not surprised that somebody in that senior trip died. I'm not. Because if you're wild enough that you get kicked out of a Holiday Inn, you know your group has problems.
Yeah.
Although I did almost get kicked out of a Motel 6 once. Before we even, as we was checking in, because the woman thought we was there to party.
Oh, is that when you went to Fort Knox?
Yes. I'm like, yes, I drove halfway across the state of Kentucky to come party in your rinky-dink little Motel 6 in E-Town. Thank you.
I hate E-Town.
I do too. Every time I've been to E-Town, it's been a disaster. Remember that time that we was going to see Hayseed in Nashville, and we got stuck right at E-Town?
I think we talked about that last week. Week before last.
I think we did too.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
And for those of you that did not listen to that episode, they had soup beans in the gas station.
It was great. We didn't try the soup beans. We're not that brave.
You don't eat gas station soup beans.
Remember our rule. You've got to watch out for number one.
And that means no gas station soup beans, no gas station sushi.
Oh my God, yes.
We have a drive-through hibachi. I don't know how that works, but it's at the gas station across the street from us, and the girls want to eat there so bad. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I have a rule. No gas station sushi. I'm sorry.
My Walmart has sushi now.
Ours does too, and Emmy has eaten it, and she says it's good, but I'm just for sure that one of these days she's going to eat it and get really sick.
Probably. Okay, so, I'll look further in my notes. Apparently, Natalee Holloway's dad, her parents are divorced. Her dad, Dave Holloway, actually is when he filed a petition to have his daughter declared legally dead. Probably for, insurance reasons.
I don't know. See, most parents don't really have any...
Her mom protested.
I was going to say, most parents don't have a lot, if any, life insurance on their kids because you don't expect your kids to die. Right. I think Mike has a policy on the girls still that we bought from his mom. But it was kind of like a burial or something. It was not like, if they die, it's like enough to bury them. They're not worth more dead to us than they are alive or anything.
Well, I would certainly hope not, because I don't want you all to kill my nieces. I like them a little bit.
Yeah. I'm kind of partial to them.
So, for months, Natalee Holloway's mom actually lived in Aruba trying to find her daughter.
Which kind of took a toll on her marriage, and then...
It did, and eventually her and her husband, Jug Twitty, divorced.
I wonder if he's in a relation to Conway.
I don't know. I've wondered that.
I mean, that's not a common last name.
It isn't.
It's about as common as ours.
So just after she files for divorce, she meets another parent of a deceased child, and they start dating.
Oh yes.
And I didn't really find this out until we started researching for this. Natalee Holloway's mom, Beth Twitty, dated John Ramsey. John Benet Ramsey's dad. And this was right after his wife passed away from cancer.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I watched that Lifetime movie on John Benet Ramsey's death the other day.
I didn't.
It was weird. It was very weird. He actually ended up breaking up with her because he said that they were in different places when it came to grieving.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of can see that. I mean, at least John knew that John Benet was dead.
A lot of people online were really ripping into him for that, but I can see his point there. She was still actively seeking vengeance and, trying to get to the truth, and he was just
resigned to the fact that it happened and they might never catch the killer.
Well, I mean, this also wasn't the first child that he lost.
Right. But I mean, I don't know that...
He had an older daughter who died in a car wreck. And he had processed his grief, I guess you could say. And he knows what happened to his daughter. He just doesn't know. Well, I mean, he might know who did it.
Yeah, we don't know.
John Benet Ramsey is one of those cases that we will probably never talk about on this show. Except in, brief mentions
like
with episodes like this.
Yeah. I mean, that's another episode that we, that we have a different take on than a lot of people. Just because...
Yeah. And I think also...
I mean, I was a pageant mom. I hate to admit that because pageant moms get such a bad rap. But I mean, I was. Abby did pageants for years. Emmy was never into it. Like, I put her in a couple, but she always had this, like, resting bitch face, even as a toddler. So, she was not a very good pageant kid.
She just didn't like it. Abby loved it. But yeah, I think also I kind of get the impression that the only thing that Beth Twitty and John Ramsey had in common was the fact they lost children in a tragic way.
Yeah.
And that is not enough to build a relationship on. So let's talk a little bit about Joran Vandersloot.
Okay.
At the time that Natalee disappeared, he was actually younger than her. He was 17 years old. He is now 30. He's now married, and he has a kid.
Yeah, he got married and had a kid while in prison.
So let's talk a little bit about why he is in prison.
Okay, so 5 years.
5 years to the day
of Natalee Holloway's disappearance.
He was in Lima. Yeah, he was in Lima, Peru, at a poker tournament.
Yeah. And
he hooked up with a business major, Stephanie Flores Ramirez. They went back to one of their hotel rooms, his hotel room. It was registered in his name. And sometime over the course of it, he took a tennis racket and beat her to death.
Right. Wasn't it... I'm having trouble pulling up my notes, but didn't...
We don't know for sure that he beat her to death because she was researching his connection to the Natalee Holloway disappearance. But we do know that we know around about time of when she died based on forensic evidence. And we know that by looking at her Google search history, an hour before she died, she was Googling his name and Natalee Holloway.
Yeah.
So, put the pieces together, and he killed her because she was...
Well, researching
she was researching his past. And this is kind of where me and Holly differ about the motivation here. I think that he was just so... He had been the suspect for so long that he snapped.
See, I don't think it's a snap thing.
And killed this girl.
Like, I think that he had anger management issues from way back, and this was just a manifestation of that.
Yeah, but I don't think he killed Natalee. I don't think that he killed Natalee Holloway. I think that he was there. I think he got rid of the body, but I don't think he actually physically killed her himself.
Well, see, I don't know. I kind of think that he did.
And this is one of those things that unless we find the body, and the body has, damage on it, like skull cracked open, we'll never really know.
Right. I mean, and it's been so long that
there are actually some accounts that he paid a friend to dig up her body and have it cremated and the ashes scattered at sea.
Well, since we're coming up on the end of this, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
I think that I don't know that he physically killed her. I kind of want to lean towards that he probably strangled her or something. Why? I don't know. I mean, yeah, just because she was drunk doesn't mean that she was going to sleep with him. I kind of think that it was a sex thing, honestly. She said no, he killed her accidentally, on purpose, doesn't matter. And he called his dad to help him cover it up. Otherwise, how could 3 17-year-olds commit, such a colossal crime and the body never be found?
But the dad would have the means to make it go away.
Yeah, and it did.
Well, at least her body did. The case will probably never go away. This is one of those cases that will always haunt people.
Yeah. But with the Stephanie Flores' case, surveillance video is what did him in. They had evidence that he left her hotel room and that she was never seen again. And then she had about $10,000 in her car and it was gone, including some personal items of hers that he ended up with.
The hotel room was registered in his name. It was pretty much a slam dunk case. But in Peru, they do not do life sentences, and I don't think they do capital punishment anymore.
Yeah, so he only got 28 years.
And I'm kind of thinking that Peruvian prisons are a little bit more laid back than the United States because he met his current wife, Lady Figueroa, in 2014, and she was selling things inside the prison.
Well, they must have a really good commissary.
They must, because they got married in prison, and she was already 7 months pregnant with his child when they got married. I'm always a little bit disturbed when people marry murderers.
Yeah.
But he was indicted by a U.S. court, and I believe he was found guilty. So when he serves his 28 years in Peru, he will be extradited to the United States.
Well, that's good at least.
And I'm almost of the opinion that he better hope that he never sets a free foot on U.S. soil, because something tells me that Beth Twitty might be the type that's getting picked off.
Yeah.
She still has a lot of rage. I understand it.
I do too. I mean, if I knew, well, even if I suspected, if somebody hurts my kids,
if you had a chance to get into a prison to face the person that you knew killed your child, you probably would have taken your chance to kill him right then.
Oh yeah.
Knowing you like I know you.
And I would happily serve my time. I would just be given like prison tattoos or something. I'd stick people because that's all I know how to draw.
But this is such a tragic case because it really did not have to happen.
No. And I feel awful for everybody involved because the friends have to feel like shit. You know that the chaperones, if they didn't lose their job...
I mean, Holly and I have chaperoned Kings Island trips before.
Yeah. I mean, everybody feels like shit about how their involvement in this.
I I could not have imagined if, even if a mechanical issue had happened and hurt one of those kids. Let alone, one of them get murdered. Which I don't think there's ever been a murder at Kings Island.
If so, it would be in our Kings Island episode.
So I guess our listeners need to go back and listen. Yep. And maybe they'll find out.
Yep, I don't remember what episode it was. But
hold on, I can look that up real quick.
Okay.
I just feel like this whole episode is one big reminder to our listeners never to leave your buddies alone.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, episode 38. We released it on June 5th. That is our amusement parks episode. And you need to tune in because we've referenced it a lot in this episode.
Yeah, it was a good episode.
It was probably one of my favorites. We need to go back to Kings Island.
I know, we do. I can't believe we didn't make it back this summer.
I know. Boston took a lot out of us.
Yeah, money-wise.
And energy-wise.
Yep, true. And days off-wise, so...
Natalee Holloway, 18 years old, had a full ride scholarship to
Alabama.
Hold on.
It was Alabama.
Okay. That's what I thought it was. I just didn't want to say it without making 100% sure.
And we have a friend that works for the University of Alabama.
We do?
Mm-hmm. Dan.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot.
Yep, he works for the
radio station.
Campus radio station, yep. I remember when he first moved and he told me that game days were scary and sometimes he hid in his shower.
With his Shih Tzu.
Yeah, with his Shih Tzu. Hercules.
Yeah, I mean, this girl had her whole life ahead of her. Had money, privilege. She was going places in this world. And it's so unfair.
Especially when it's something that's preventable and then it happened. Like, it's tragic.
This was absolutely preventable.
Well,
and I'm not saying she was asking for it because she was drinking. I'm saying at some point there should have been some checks and balances in that senior trip organization that would have prevented one of the students from going off with strangers.
Right, and I know it's a different place and different drinking age, but I mean that's why we have it at 21. 18-year-olds really are not mature enough to make decisions about when to stop. Do we have a stupid criminal?
Okay. I don't actually have a stupid criminal for this week. Do you have a stupid criminal for this week?
No.
I am going to share a video to our Facebook page of two very white trash women and a small child in a brawl in the Walmart in Grundy, Virginia. Because
what?
This video made me laugh and made me deeply ashamed that we have people that are living like this in Appalachia. Have I not sent you this video?
No.
I'm going to send you this video right now on Facebook.
Okay.
I mean, it was so bad that I was sitting down at my boyfriend's mom's house earlier doing some research for this episode. And she sends me this and she says, you got to share this with your Haunted Family Podcast family. Because they will laugh as hard as I did. And I died laughing while watching this.
Okay. I have a stupid criminal.
Okay, who is our stupid criminal?
Our stupid criminal is Norman Long. Now, Norman killed his wife Michelle. He beat her. And then, in order to cover his tracks... Well, okay, I'm just going to ask. How do you think he covered his tracks?
Well, I'm guessing that he didn't stage an alibi and dispose of the body in a manner that looked like an accident.
Well, he attempted to.
Because if he had done this, he would not be our stupid criminal.
He attempted. He really did. But he's a dumbass. So she died of blunt force trauma. So instead of staging it so that it looked like she died of blunt force trauma, he threw her body in the pool.
Oh, makes total sense.
And then he went to Applebee's. Yeah.
Did he at least try to make it look like she'd hit her head on the edge of the pool?
No.
You know, Greg Louganis style? Well, he didn't hit his head on the edge of the pool. He hit his head on the edge of the diving board.
No, he just...
Remember that girl that we swam with that would always crack her head on the side of the pool?
Yeah. Oh, God. Oh, actually,
She was so lucky that we had a lot of doctors as parents in that team.
yeah, you know who that is, don't you?
No, I'm blanking on the name.
Her brother was in Logan.
Oh yeah! I forgot they were brother and sister.
Yep.
Her brother turned out to be really hot.
Yeah, we were on a swim team with a famous actor. And when my girls found out, they were like, "Did you ever go out with him?" I was like, he was like 8. No, we did not go out. Anyway, back to our stupid criminal. So he cleaned up the blood from where he beat her, and threw the bloody paper towels.
Bleach?
No. And he threw the bloody paper towels in the kitchen trash can.
Oh my God. He
Yeah.
really is a stupid criminal.
I told you.
His poor wife.
Uh,
And not just for the fact that he killed her, but the fact that she had to live with this dummy.
yeah. So stupid. But their house was really nice, and they had a cool pool. Like, it was like kidney shape and had a little spa attached, and it's really nice.
I'd like to have a swimming pool.
Me too. So, anyway, I guess that's all we got for the week.
Just a friendly reminder to all of our listeners, watch your buddies, and watch out for yourself.
Yeah, do not leave them alone at parties, at concerts, in bars.
At bars, just don't. At town festivals, oh goodness.
Yeah, don't leave them alone.
Some of the people in our town are a little sketchy. I'm afraid of them.
Yeah, really.
Just watch out for your friends. Watch out for yourself. There are really horrible people in this world.
And if you have a stupid criminal that you want to share with us, you can share that at hauntedfamilypodcast at gmail.com.
You can look at our YouTube channel. Just search for Haunted Family Podcast. Check out our website, hauntedfamilypodcast.com.
And find us on
Facebook
and Instagram, Haunted Family Podcast, on both of those.
We're lame. We like Haunted Family Podcast as our name.
We do.
So we just stick with it for everything.
Let me see. Oh, if you would like to have a podcast of your own, because you listen to us every week and you think that this sounds super fun, and you know you don't have anything else going on, so
And you don't have a life, and you like to spend money.
yeah, then I'm going to highly suggest that you use our host, Podbean. We are now Podbean affiliates and could not be happier about that, because we absolutely love Podbean. We love everything about them. We love that, no matter how short or long our episode is, they've got us covered. They
fully integrating our website, which is just
amazing, because our other one was not, and it kind of looked lame.
And I mean, the information you get on your dashboard as to who's downloading from where, what are your rankings of your different episodes. It's so user friendly.
It is. Like, we
Which
we
is
love
important
seeing
for
who is
people
our
like
most
us.
download state. We like seeing what is our most download country other than the United States. We actually have listeners in Japan. I don't even know how to say Haunted Family Podcast in Japanese. But we have
I'll see if I can
listeners.
find that.
Oh no, you'll butcher it and then we'll lose our listeners. But
I can make Google say it for me, Holly.
Oh, fine then.
And it's funny that my translate is automatically set up to go from English to Portuguese. I'm trying to learn Portuguese. So if we have any listeners from Brazil that would like to chat and tutor me on Brazilian Portuguese, I would love that. Totally love that. Okay, I cannot pronounce this at all.
Well, there you go.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, that's that's all we've got for you. Thanks for listening. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.